Not Your Average Radio, big homie Monski, mixbosses.com. I got a special guest in the house, the homie JCmakeupMaster. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I hope everybody's doing good, and I hope everybody enjoys this interview as much as we are. Not Your Average Radio is really not your average radio.
Already talking shit. I see how you are now, but it's cool. You're right. You're absolutely right. This is Not Your Average Radio. We do Not Your Average stuff because I'm over here doing some ghetto ass stuff, and he's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like,
No, not at all.
I was like, "This is Not Your Average Radio, dog. Just don't worry about it. You just post your little comments, post your little videos so everybody knows you're on. Don't worry about me. I'm just doing my thing."
That's right. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's about. Hey, but by the way, if you guys don't know, I usually do my interviews over the phone. The first interview I did live in the studio was with Barbra Sanchez, Miss B, and the homie JC is my second person here live right next to me. So that's pretty dope, man. Thank you for coming out.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to be your second one.
You're my second one, man. I'm still new to this, but
it's a
dope.
Half version at the
half virgin. But Miss B was the first. She hit it first, like Ray J.
Shout out to Miss B. I love Barbara.
Yeah, she's really dope. Speaking about Barbara, I already went through a couple questions. Again, if you have any questions for Mr. JC here, make sure you comment on his post or something, a question that you would like to know. We'll do a little segment towards the end for all the questions. Give you guys some time to do that. Or on mine, if you're following me, I am _Monski, and we'll get to it. But anyway, so I have a couple questions here for you today, JC. And first, I'd like to talk about how we came across each other or how we met. I don't know. This is what I do. And again, shout out to the homegirl, Barbra Sanchez. She introduced us, I guess you could say, or we were there at the same time. So we kind of met. And I still remember the time that we first met. I was like, I'm going to interview you. You're like, no, you're not. Cause I do hip hop, obviously I do hip hop show and he does makeup. He's like, I'll interview you. You're like, no, you won't.
Yeah. I didn't believe that you were going to bring in a makeup artist, but I didn't know you had listeners who, liked makeup or they wanted to hear about it.
Oh yeah. And they're very excited, especially Baby J, so shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Baby J. I love you.
There it is. Let's get started, man. Let's get some questions going here. That's exactly how we met. Shout out to Barbra Sanchez. We've been out a couple times. Oh, and shout out to you for the last time we went to the red carpet for the J Israel.
Yeah, it was a clothing line, and also the red carpet with they had a clothing line that they were mostly promoting.
Yeah, so I was over there, and the homie right here, he let me know that I have a side to my, because I'm not a real picture guy, and he let me know that I have a side. So hey, shout out to him for letting me know that my left side is my side.
Yeah, I was giving them a little bit of a training on how to take selfies or what's his best side or how to do a little bit of good posing, I guess you could say.
Yes, that was really dope. Anyways, let's get back. See, that's why I don't like having people here with me because we'll goof around and not get anything done. But anyways, we're back. Okay, so let's focus and get some questions going. So obviously, I see you doing really big things, man. So shout out to you for that. But I want to know how you got started. Like, what made you want to do makeup?
It's a very interesting story, and every time I tell a story, people kind of think like, wow, that's kind of a weird way to approach this industry or approach this career. Really, the way it started was I had a friend who was starting to just do drag, meaning he was a boy who was dressing as a girl for maybe like the night or the weekend. And the first couple of times that he did dress up in drag, he had a couple of our old mutual friends do his makeup. They weren't people that we hung out with all the time. They were just people that we just hung out with here and there. One day we were going to go to a birthday celebration with, a few friends, and he didn't have anybody to do his makeup. So he said, hey, I have my mom's makeup. Do you want to do my makeup? And I'm like, let's do it, So I just went in for it. And I always say this, and I say this at my seminars when I teach. I always tell a little bit about myself, and it makes everybody laugh. It's sad but funny to say that he felt like Beyonce after I had done his makeup, but he looked like Lindsay Lohan at her worst.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you ever do makeup before that?
Before that, I really didn't do much makeup. I used to always get into Halloween. That was my ultimate favorite thing always growing up. And every time that I thought about a costume for Halloween, I always made sure it was something that I was going to be able to kind of involve face painting, something that I could really transform myself all around.
Right.
And so that's kind of referring back now that I'm in the situation I am, referring back to then, I'm like, that makes sense. No wonder why I was always so intrigued by doing something that was going to involve painting my face or just really completely transforming myself.
That's crazy. So this guy knew you had like zero experience doing makeup, and he's like, hey, do my makeup.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, that's crazy.
He had no other option. I was the only other person there, and I think he saw the potential, and I felt the potential, and I said, I could do a little bit of contouring, a little bit of this, and we really just started with drag makeup, and that's how I really started my artistry. A lot of people start on the opposite end of the industry or of of the stick, you could say a lot of people start with just a little bit of blush or a little bit of lipstick, or let's add a little mascara. And they kind of build their way up to being like, okay, now I learn how to contour, now I learn how to do highlighting, or just kind of doing a lot more coverage. And like I said, I started on the opposite end where I was trying to make a man have female features. So I was contouring from the get-go, and people kind of start where very lightly, and then they work their way up to know how to contour, know how to do things that are going to be appealing and are going to look good, from up close and from a distance. Just techniques that I started with, people kind of start to learn them later on in their career.
That makes sense. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I just thought about this. I used to have a girlfriend that was really into makeup, so I know the basics. I know, but contouring and all that shit. You're speaking French to me, but I'll be honest with you. I know everybody that's tuned in right now is definitely about makeup and stuff like that, so they know what you're talking about. But yeah, I see what you're saying though. Obviously, if you're trying to make a girl look pretty, it's going to be easier than trying to make a man look like a girl.
Exactly.
So I get the gist of it. That you went, you just went to the hardest part first,
exactly,
and then went that way. So that's really dope, man. So I guess the rest of your path was kind of easier now that after you learned that.
I came a point where that very close friend of mine, who his drag name was Miss Amber, there came a point where Miss Amber was coming out more often, and maybe sometimes even once a week or every other week. So I was doing the makeup for him/her either once a week or every other week. As I continued to do the makeup, I felt more and more confident about it, and I realized that doing makeup made me happy. It kind of like, if something was going on in my life that was maybe not so positive, it just kind of made everything better, I guess you could say it's like my drug. When I continued to do makeup, eventually I started kind of doing my sister-in-law's makeup, so shout out to her, Ale. I'm sure she's tuned in now. Sometimes I would do her makeup, and sometimes I would do my sister's makeup, and I would just kind of play around. It really started as a game, and it turned into my passion, and now it's really the career path that I decided to pursue.
Right, that's really cool. So how long ago was this? How long
About
you been
5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah,
that's not bad, man. You've been doing really good in the last 5 years. That's really good.
Yeah, it was a little slow at the beginning. I guess I didn't really start thinking that I was going to take this super serious until about 2 or maybe a little more than 2 years ago. I decided, like, I was doing makeup, and I had clients, and people really enjoyed my work. They enjoyed seeing my work, and I realized, hey, maybe I should really pursue this on a serious level and not just kind of as a hobby or as a weekend thing.
So, and then you went to school for it and everything, right?
I actually didn't go to school for it.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
self-taught, so I never went to school. I never got any kind of training through any type of academy or anything like that. I really, literally just learned hands-on.
So how does that affect your career? If you don't have that, don't you have to have a degree or the certificate, or the certification is the word I'm looking for?
Luckily for us, people in California who are pursuing the makeup artistry career, legally you don't need a license or a certificate to do makeup. You need a license to dye hair, to cut hair, to do like cosmetology stuff. But when it comes to just regular makeup applications, you really can just let your work do the talking. A lot of the times, that's what really gets you jobs. People see your work, and I'm very big on doing before and after pictures, and I try to always do before and after pictures. Unless my client doesn't feel comfortable, then I will respect that. However, if they do feel comfortable, I will take the pictures, I will upload them, and it's been my biggest form of self-advertisement, because people see like, wow, he really was able to enhance that person's beauty, and they want to become one of my clients when they see the pictures.
Man, this is crazy. This is good stuff, man. I'm telling you, Not Your Average Radio. And you guys think I'm messing around when I say that, right? You guys haven't seen my Not Your Average studio. Anyways, that's really good, man. That's really crazy. How you started and everything in the last way. So actually you took it seriously in the last 2.5 years, and you've done so much. That's really good, man. That's really good. So talk a little bit about what you've done, how you got into it, which is crazy. What are you working on now? And I know you already told, you posted that you have quite a bit of things to talk about. So let them know, man. What are you working on right now?
Yeah, I'm excited to make a few announcements. One of them, I'm not going to be able to get into detail because, it's one of those things in the industry where you kind of have to keep it a secret until you realize like it's ready to be announced. But I can start with this. Recently I was working with Christina Milian's new makeup line. So, she's actually coming back now, and she's coming back hard. She's on various reality shows, and she has a clothing line. She just launched a makeup line, and I'm proud to announce that I'm the official ambassador for that makeup line.
Wow, that's dope. I did see the picture of you with her. I think it was that her daughter or something.
Yeah, her daughter. She's so
really
adorable.
Dope. That's really dope.
Yeah, well, and it's almost like a dream come true to me to be able to do things like this, because a few years ago I never thought I would. And there was a point where I doubted myself, but then I stood up, I got off my couch and I said, you know what? I can do it. And anything that I set my mind to, I can do. And so now here I am working very closely with celebrities. And that was the most recent big accomplishment that I really wanted to share with everybody. And I don't think I had announced that I was the official ambassador for this line, but I am. And I'm really excited to really push these products. And I'm super excited more than anything to just kind of take my career to another level. Another thing that I've been kind of working on recently has been, eventually at the end of my career, I always want to remain hands-on. I want to be a hands-on artist no matter what, But eventually I want to have my own business and possibly my own makeup line. So right now what I'm doing is I'm actually working with collaboration. I have a brand called Spiro Cosmetics. The CEO of that company or that brand is launching her new line, and she offered a set of products, cosmetic products, that are going to be a special edition under my name. So there will be some JCmakeupMaster lip products out there, special edition with this brand, and I'm super excited because I'm going to actually work so closely with these products that I'm going to determine what color they're going to be. The consistency will probably be the same as the rest of the line, but I'm going to be very involved, and that's what I'm really excited for, because eventually these are the kind of things that I want to be able to do. Being hands-on as an artist, I want to be able to put some product out there to people that I know is going to be things that it's going to make the life of an artist easier. So that's one of the biggest things that I have going on. And last but not least,
man, not to cut you off. This guy is crazy. Like, you should see his facial expressions. He's working with Christina Milian, like one of the real famous people going on right now. He's talking about doing his own, like a little dimension of a product line. And he's like, oh, and one more thing. What else? I'm curious. What the hell? What's next?
I promised I would tell everything about what's going on.
No, that's fine. No, you want to. I'm just saying, I'm like, damn, dude, you're doing so much. What else are you doing? I'm just very. Go ahead, man.
And I'm doing all of this while trying to juggle a relationship, and it's not the easiest thing to do. But huge shout out to my partner, Raymond. He's always been so supportive as of lately, and he's trying, and he's always tried. And I don't think if I had that much support from my partner, I don't know where I would be now. But I do want to say special thanks to you for just always being so supportive, and his name is Raymond. So
hey, shout out to him.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead and
I want to
know.
The last big news that I have is the one that I can't really tell the most about, but it's actually a very exciting thing. It's another collaboration that I have going on, and it's with a company called Vera Mona. And Vera Mona is a great company who recently has actually announced that they are going to be in actually a huge retail company for cosmetics. And I'm not sure if I can say what brand, but I will say that this company is growing, and they're growing quickly. 2 years ago, they came out with this amazing invention that makes every artist's life easier, and it's called the Color Switch Duo. I love this product. I made a very good relationship with the CEO, Letty, and once again, that is from Vera Mona. And so now I'm really excited to announce that I will be having my own makeup tool, JCmakeupMaster tool, collaborated with Vera Mona. And let's just put it this way, it's a one-of-a-kind tool. No other brand out there has this tool, and it's going to be used for one of the very popular makeup techniques that are really out there right now, and it's really going to have everybody like, wow, if I get that tool, I can accomplish that look. And so that's all I can really say about it, but I say it with so much enthusiasm because I'm so excited, and I just can't wait to announce the full on details.
God damn. Hey, you already said so much. What are you hiding from us? Hey, right now when we get off the air, you can tell me, dog. I won't tell anybody. I promise. I'm not even into makeup, man, but just seeing how excited you are is really dope, man. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I'm really excited for everything that's been going on, and I just feel like everything's been a blessing. And the one day that I told myself that I was going to get off my couch and get what I want, accomplish it, and not let anybody tell me otherwise. I was working at a 9-to-5 like a lot of people do. I was working at a place that was giving me benefits, and I was, I had a stable job, and I had stable income.
Are you already going to our next question?
Let's see.
You kind of are, because I already gave him a heads up.
What is it? Well, it's not not necessarily.
Go ahead. Because usually I tell the interview people, the interviewee, what my questions are, and then they're already thinking about it, and they'll start talking about it. And I'm like, wait, I haven't asked you yet. We need to get into some music, and then we'll get into that question. But go ahead.
No, you know what? No, this is I have a specific different answer for that.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
So you're getting off the couch. You had a 9-to-5 job.
I had a 9-to-5 job, and for some reason I wasn't very happy. The company had great opportunities for everybody, and I learned a lot from the company, and I'm so thankful for all the opportunities they did give me. However, I knew that I didn't want to be at a 9-to-5 an employee for the rest of my life. I wanted to do something for myself, and I wanted to work whatever job I was doing. I wanted it to be more like a hobby versus a job. I wanted it to be something that made me happy, and I didn't want to feel like I have to go to work again. That's what I didn't want to live the rest of my life like that. So
right.
I actually let go of a really good job. It was very nerve-wracking. I had no idea what I was going to do because I didn't have a backup plan. I just knew that I wanted to pursue makeup, and I knew that I was going to do whatever I put my mind to, and here's where I am now.
You didn't have a backup plan. You just quit.
I just quit.
What
yeah.
The fuck? That is crazy because I have a 9-to-5 myself right now.
Okay.
As we speak, I have a 9-to-5, and honestly, you're right. I don't want to be there anymore, especially after the experiences that we've gone through. Like red carpet events and rocking with the dope ass artists and doing shows, and then I go back to reality in my 9-to-5. like I know that there's more to this than to life than this.
Exactly.
So hey, my hat's off to you, brother. Shout out to you for just quitting.
It was very nerve-wracking, but
imagine.
I knew what I wanted, and I knew that being tied up in a 9-to-5 wasn't going to allow me to become available for things that I would want to do if the opportunity arose. So I decided I have to make a sacrifice, and I made sure that I saved up my penny so that in case an emergency happened, I would still be able to just really fall back on something. So, I think it's the best decision I've ever made.
There you go, man. Shout out to the homie JCmakeupMaster. Like I said, man, we're having a dope interview right here with him, man. I appreciate you coming through. I always like playing a little bit of music. We've been talking for a little bit. I got a couple more questions, and I already have, I don't know if you have any of your followers asking questions. I have a couple people asking me questions over here. So I got a couple over here, so we'll get into that as well. We'll be right back. I'm going to get into some music real quick with the homie JCmakeupMaster right here. Not
Stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah. Whenever you are faced with a situation where you think there's no way out, I promise, all you have to do is just look inside yourself, and you will find all the answers. You gotta earn your life.
All right, man. It is going down right here, Not Your Average Radio. Big homie Monski. I'm still right here with the homie JCmakeupMaster. What's up, brother?
Hey, everybody. We're back. I don't know if everybody's enjoying the music Monski's playing. Some people were already messaging him saying he should play softer music, but I can't even hear what he's playing. I'm sure he's playing something good.
This one was softer. This one right here was softer, man. Shout out to Barbra Sanchez. I didn't, I don't really think about it because I play basically the same thing over, through every night. I'm learning too. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is, I'm doing Not Your Average Radio, but I'm also learning as well. So yeah, I have to be conscious of the person that I'm interviewing because obviously your listeners most likely don't, listen to underground hip hop. You know what I mean?
Maybe they do. Maybe I have some cholas out there who are, listening and appreciating the music. And I really like all types of music, to be honest with you. I feel like music's music, and maybe the mood you're in might be where you really kind of want to listen to certain type of music, but music is music, Music is music. But hey, now that you're telling us all these, things that's coming up in your life, like the makeup line and the makeup tool and all that stuff, you're coming in hot, man. So we need some, some strong music. So at the end of the day, I picked good music, I think, to start off your interview because, like if you're just talking like, oh, I do this and I do that, I need a soft music. But no, you're anybody knows me, I'm not that little boring person like that.
Exactly. So,
if anything, sometimes people are telling me to tone it down.
That's why I like it, man. You're perfect. You're perfect for Not Your Average Radio. So
thank you.
That's what's up. Again, man, shout out to everybody tuning in. I'm getting messages already of questions to ask the homie here in a little bit. I got a couple more questions, just to finish off the interview, and then we'll get into some shout outs. And if you don't follow him already, he'll let you know where to follow him, and then we'll go into the questions from the listeners, man. So I got a couple more questions, so let's make this quick so we can get into your guys' questions. All right. This is my favorite question to ask. I used to just ask, the fluffy questions like, hey, how you been? You're doing good. What's next? And I think I needed another dimension to the interview. And ever since I did, I've been getting so much positive feedback. Like, that was a dope ass interview.
We're getting that feedback as we speak. I'm getting a lot of comments on our post saying great interview. And you know what? When I heard you interviewing Barbra Sanchez, I said, dang, this guy needs on radio for the rest of his life. You have that radio voice and you have that energy, and I think it makes people want to listen.
Well, thank you. And having interviewers like you it helps.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, man. And I'm kind of like you. I never been to school. I never done anything professionally or anything like that. This is just the love that I have, my passion that I have to do radio, just like you do makeup. That's why, when I first talked to you, I'm about people and their grind and their work and their passion. You know what I'm saying? And if your passion is makeup, who am I to judge you? You're a cool dude. We hung out a couple times already. I have nothing but respect for you. Just because you do makeup doesn't mean like, oh, he does makeup, like fuck him. Like, no. Obviously you're doing really, really good. You have your own, part of a line already starting, your own makeup tool, stuff like that. Then I want to fuck with you. If it's makeup, if it's plumbing, if you want to fix toilets the rest of your life, whatever it is.
I always say, whatever you do, it doesn't matter what you want to do in life, what your career wants, what your career path, you choose, as long as you do it right and you give it 100%.
That's it.
That's what really matters.
There you go, man. Okay, so now I'm curious about this question. Like I was telling you a little bit behind the scenes. I was going to say something really weird, but anyways, behind the scenes. I was going to say behind closed doors, but that was going to just sound very weird.
Hey, you're going to cause a divorce here.
I'm sorry. I was going to say behind closed doors, but I meant behind the scenes. Don't listen to me. I'm just weird.
You had too many drinks tonight.
Right? I'm already drunk. Anyways, man. So you talked a little bit about how you had a 9-to-5 and then you came to this point that you were just lazy on the couch, just this and that. You kind of mentioned that you had something else that you want to talk about. So what has been your greatest difficulty in your process? Because again, you've been doing so good, but again, we all know that it's not all sunshine through the whole process. So if you could let us know a little bit about that, brother.
Unfortunately, you're right. It's not all sunshine. There's always going to be those dark times or people are going to want to either put you down or maybe you just feel like you're not good enough or you're never going to make it. And I think one of my greatest difficulties in the past 2 years trying to really get into this industry and pursue this career has been getting my foot in the door. It's very weird and it sounds surreal, but the hardest thing is really getting that very first client, either client, production, or gig that's really gonna push you to that next level to say, hey, now you can call yourself a celebrity makeup artist because you did one person who's a celebrity's makeup. And from there, people will be attracted to services from you, whether it's other celebrities or just in general, because of the fact that you've hit that level in your career. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there in the industry. There's a lot of competition. Every artist is amazing in their own way. And I always say nobody is better than anybody else at their craft. Everybody is different. And that's what makes this world so diverse. People have different styles of makeup. People have different styles of dressing. People have different tastes and different likings, Because there's so many people in the industry, you think that because you know somebody who's already in the industry and you reach out to that person or those people, that they will automatically want to help you. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is. People don't always want to lend you a hand. And it's so sad to say that a complete stranger will lend you a hand before somebody you've known for years and years, and it's very unfortunate, but at the same time, you have to respect the struggle that those people went through to get to where they are. And I feel like if you don't struggle to reach a goal, you don't appreciate, once you have reached that goal, you don't appreciate as much unless you struggled.
Right, of course.
Even though that's been my hardest or my biggest difficulty was getting my actual foot in the door or having somebody be willing to believe in me and lend me a hand and say, hey, I'll get you into this gig and this is going to help you get your foot in the door. When I finally did get my foot in the door, things just kind of started flowing. And when I realized that I couldn't depend on somebody else to open up that door for me, I had to work for it myself, and I had to literally realize that nobody's going to give you anything. You have to struggle for your own blessings, or you have to really work for your accomplishments. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the people who did not open up a door for me. I'm thankful for the people who were not welcoming when I said, hey, if you ever need an assistant, let me know. I really want to get my foot in the door. And I'm thankful for the fact that I had to struggle to get to where I am, because of the fact that if I didn't struggle, maybe I wouldn't have appreciated all my accomplishments as much as I do.
Wow, that's crazy. I think it's the first time I ever heard anybody say that. Hey, shout out to all those guys that didn't help me. What? What the fuck? That's definitely the first time I ever heard that, man. That's dope, but you're absolutely right. You're like, again, like, this is the first time I ever heard that, but I'm glad that, someone is saying it, because you're absolutely right. If you don't struggle, you're not going to appreciate it.
Exactly.
That's really cool. But again, I'm over here like, that's something I've never heard before.
Hey, are you looking in my eyes like I'm telling you a love story, brother? I'm telling you my struggle.
I know. I was like, oh my God. No, I'm not going to say nothing. See, you're getting yourself in trouble. Man. I'm not saying nothing no more, man. This guy, and then he's going to blame me. He's going to be like, you got me a divorce. Nah, we're just messing around. It's cool dude right here, man. It's Not Your Average Radio, and you just heard a dope ass story right here from the homie JC, the makeup master. And again, I think everybody can learn from your story. I mean, most people that follow me are, in the hip hop scene, trying to be an artist or whatever the case might be. Again, I'm a radio host. I'm trying to get into radio. I'm taking notes, stuff like that, because I want to learn about you. And that's a good mentality to have. That's a very open-minded mentality to say, hey, shout out to everybody that didn't help me because you made me stronger.
I feel like a lot of careers and career paths have a lot of things in common when it comes to the struggle to really make it. Whether you're trying to start a plumbing business, or whether you're trying to open up a restaurant, whether you're trying to do what I'm doing, be in the entertainment industry, or I feel like everybody has something in common. Everybody has a goal that they want to reach. It's not easy to do so, but hearing other people's stories is very inspiring, and really at the end of the day, I want to inspire others, because I came from a family that was never well off. We were not wealthy. We were not in the street, but we struggled a little bit. Growing up, I didn't have it all. And I told myself that one day I'm going to be in a place where I wish to always be growing up. Things that I didn't have, I want to be able to offer them to my kid. I want to be able to inspire people who have the struggle that I went through, that I'm currently, you never stop struggling, because you always should want to grow and grow, and you should always want more.
Right, definitely.
But I feel like being able to inspire people is really the biggest thing you can give back to everyone who's out there trying to make it in whatever it is they're trying to do. Whether you're trying to be, like I said, a plumber, where you're trying to open up a restaurant, whether you're trying to do your own thing, your own business, anything. It's nice to hear other people's stories, and that's really what I love to give back.
There you go, man. You heard it from the man himself, JC MakeupMaster here, Not Your Average Radio. That's dope, man. Okay, anyways, I got one more question for you, and I really want to get into these questions from the listeners before it gets later. I know I broadcast late, but we definitely want to get to your guys' questions, because you've already done so much, man. Shout out to you for that. Shout out to you for going through all this already and still continuing on your path.
Thank you.
So where do you see yourself a year from now? You kind of gave us a little bit of what you're doing right now, a little bit of part of a makeup tool. So where do you see yourself a year from now?
In a year, I want to be able to flip through a magazine and see my work, either in a advertisement for whether it's a perfume, whether it's a makeup brand, whether it's anything. I've always had a dream of being able to walk at the grocery store, see a front cover, and be like, I did the makeup for that beautiful woman or man who is on the front cover of that magazine. I also want to be able to say, I have established clients who are going to be going to the VMAs tonight, and I have to do their makeup. I want to be able to be proud of my work and be able to share with everybody and say, hey, you can go to your local Vallarta and check out my work on the magazine that's right before you pay for your milk, It's just, to me, that's always been so inspiring when I see the magazine work and I look at it and I say, wow, that artist is just so amazing. Look at how beautiful he made him or her look. It's just inspiring to me, and that's something that I ambition.
That's good. That's dope, man. I see you doing it.
And that's just in the next year. Don't ask me in 10 years, because that's going to be a whole nother story. Maybe we can do another interview based on more.
In a year from now, we're going to have you back, and then we're going to say, hey, what did you accomplish? Did you accomplish your goal? And you're going to say, I did this and more. And all right, so now tell us your 10-year goal.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, man. So hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you again for coming on to Not Your Average Radio, to do the interview here.
Thank you so much.
We've been talking about it for a minute, but we finally got it done. And shout out to Barbra Sanchez, for making it happen as well.
Yes,
but
Barbra is my publicist, and I'm so happy that I've been able to work with her, because we have this very good relationship. We communicate very well. I think the key to success in friendships, relationships, business partners is communication, and so I'm very thankful that I'm able to work with Barbra, because she's been able to get me to events, and she looks out for me, and I look out for her as well. And I think if it wasn't for her, I probably would not be doing a lot of things that I'm I'm doing now as well.
Yeah, shout out to her, man. She even helped. She's not technically my publicist, but she's a very good friend of mine, and she's been doing a lot of opportunities for myself too.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, so shout out to her, man. Very, very, very humble person. She's been doing it. If you want to know more about her, I also did an interview with her. So check out the YouTube channel or check out the website. There is a Miss B interview, like 6-7 interviews ago. So yeah, so make sure you check that out as well. But so go ahead and at this time we'll do some shout outs. We'll do let everybody know that doesn't know where they can reach you at and stuff like that, and then we'll get into some questions from the followers.
Good. I do want to do a few shout outs, and today I'm going to shout out the people who are actually writing to me on social media and expressing how much they're enjoying this interview. And I want to say thank you for listening, and even if you are listening, you didn't comment anything, thank you for listening as well. But I have on Instagram, I have Britt Soleil saying listening to your interview, and I'm so excited for you and your new collaborations. And thank you, Brittany. I really appreciate all the support that you and your family have always given me, and I can't wait to share all my collaborations with everyone as well. I have Miss B805 also commenting awesome interview. Of course, I have one of my best friends, Cool Kid Jojo, saying he's very proud of me and thank you. He's enjoying the interview as well. I have _Mar_Luna, saying that she's listening as well. I have Lafayette Femenina, which is a great photographer in Ventura County, who is also tuned in. Let's see. I want to give personal shout outs, to my family. I want to shout out, like I said, my partner, my relatives, my siblings, my parent. I'm very proud of my parents' support, because coming from a Mexican family, you don't really know what you're going to get into when you decide you want to pursue this career, and you don't know if you're going to be judged by your father, by your grandparents, or by your parents in general. And my parents have always been very supportive, so I want to give a special shout out to them and to everybody in my family in general. Everybody's so supportive, and everybody on my social media, a special shout out, because for some reason, everybody has realized I have social media and people have been just wanting to follow me on social media. And I'm really, really thankful because of the fact that it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. And it makes me feel like I'm really inspiring everybody out there. And so shout out to everyone who's been so supportive on social media. And I think that's it. I'm sorry if I forgot anybody in general. Just everybody needs to realize that I'm thankful for everyone who's been a positive impact in my life.
And for those that aren't on your social media, what's your links to get to you or your?
So it's very simple. I just recently made a Twitter. So my Twitter, I'm trying to get used to still, but I have a Twitter, I have a Periscope, I have YouTube, I have Instagram, Facebook, and every single one of them you can find by searching JCmakeupMaster. So every single social media account that I have is all JCmakeupMaster. I think my YouTube might not be that specific name, but if you Google JCmakeupMaster, my YouTube account will automatically pop up. So if you guys want to add me on Instagram, social media, if you guys want to go ahead and add me on Facebook, any social media account that you have, you can find me at JCmakeupMaster.
There you go. So everybody that's interested to see who the homie is, to see his work, make sure you follow him, all that. Again, it's Not Your Average Radio. I am Monski. I got the homie JC Makeup Master right here, live in the studio. Second person to be live, do a live interview with, man. So appreciate you coming out.
Thank you so much.
I kind of live out of the area for most people that I interview, because I'm over here in Moorpark. But he made the travels or whatever.
Well, it was actually completely fine today because it worked out perfectly. I was in LA shooting with Quincy, which is P. Diddy's son, and he was shooting his music video today, so I was out there doing makeup on, the models, grooming for him, and on my way back, I stopped by here, so it was completely in the way of where I was going to be going anyway.
There you go. So it worked out perfect. And again, see, this guy's already doing celebrities, Christine Milian, P. Diddy's son. Man, 6 months from now, you're gonna have your dream. I'm telling you, that cover is gonna be like, hey, I did that person's makeup.
There's so many people who have been so supportive of me, just like you, the comments you make. There's a lot of people out there who believe in me, and this is a little bit of a truthful joke that I always tell people. I didn't step a foot in college after high school. I didn't want anything to do with education as far as the books went. I always like to learn. Every single day I learn something new. However, I didn't pursue college. I didn't pursue an actual degree. There's no other alternative. I have to make it in this industry.
There you go. And sometimes that works for people. When you have no other alternative, then you have no other way to go but forward. No matter what. Right. No matter what. Because again, that kind of helps sometimes. sometimes because you're going to come through struggles and through obstacles in your course. So if you have a way out, you might say like, oh, you know what? Maybe school sounds more interesting than tackling this obstacle. But since you don't have any other out, you have no choice.
I have to make it.
You have to make it, man. You have to make it. That's what's up, man. Okay. So yeah, make sure you hit him up. Make sure you follow him and all that good stuff. Let's get into these questions, man. You know, I don't want to forget the people that are listening and showing support. So here's so one of my followers, Baby J. She's always really into the interviews and she loves the motivation. She's just started doing makeup. She started doing makeup. So then when I told her about that I met you and that you do makeup, I wanted to interview you. For the first day that I met you, I told her, and she's like, you have to do it. You have to do it. Let me know. This is crazy, you know, and so here we are. And she did send me questions. So
thank you for your excitement, Baby J. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, she's really excited, man. Okay, so this is her question. This is from Baby J. She wants to know she says, I want to know what's his favorite look to do and what keeps you motivated as a makeup artist.
My favorite look to do is always going to be something where I have a fresh, nice contour. And I know you're saying this is like Chinese for you, but my listeners know. Yeah, she knows what I'm talking about.
What you're talking about. You talk to her, dog.
I honestly love the way a nice, fresh face looks with some hard contour and a nice, dark, bold lip. It could either be a smoky eye, it could just be a cut crease, or it can be just a winged eyeliner. But that fresh contoured skin with the dark, bold lip just really makes me feel like, damn, I made this girl look like a bad B.I.T., you know?
Say it, dog. Say it.
I can't.
All right, that's what's up, man. And so what keeps you motivated?
What really keeps me motivated is the positive feedback that I get. There's obviously always going to be negative feedback on social media. People who have no idea who I am or what I do and just feel like they want to, express their negative comments. But I get so much positive feedback from relatives, friends, family, social media that it inspires me just keep going. I have people who look up to my artistry and I don't consider them fans. I consider them supporters because they're supporting my art and it's helping me want to give them more. Really, that's what really helps me and makes me want to keep going.
There you go. Shout out to Baby J for that, man. Shout out to her for
thank you so much.
The questions. I do have another listener off of my Facebook, Kim Alanis. She says, what is the best foundation you can recommend for fair skin? I like mineral makeup. Is that the way to go?
Well, for foundation, it depends. If you're going to be using an everyday foundation, I would really highly recommend Makeup Forever. They have a HD foundation. They actually just came out with the same foundation, but a brand new formula. So it's supposed to be an even better version of it. But what I really like about that foundation is that it's a medium to full coverage and it's buildable. So if you want to do just one layer of makeup, just, for work, if you're going to be working at the office all day or something, and you don't really need something too extravagant, you can just put on a layer. And then if you're going out at night, you could double it up or add 3 layers and really give that full coverage. That foundation is something that's been in my kit for a few years now, and it's something that I continue to use. So I would highly recommend trying Makeup Forever HD foundation. I really, really like it.
There you go. This is very interesting that he's talking like he's looking at me while he's talking about
and
makeup.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm like, man, that's crazy.
He's like, Makeup Forever? Yes. Is that a tattoo?
I'm writing it down. Like I told you, man, I used to date a girl that did a lot of makeup, so I know full coverage and like the foundation and concealer. I don't know contour. I know the smoky eye.
Oh, good.
I know stuff like that. I still
remember. You know the basics.
I know the basics. We used to go to Sephora. We used to go to, her favorite was MAC. Also,
don't talk about Sephora because every time I walk by there and I'm with my boyfriend, he just keeps walking as fast as he can.
So that's your favorite store? That's the question. What's your favorite store?
Honestly, my favorite store to shop at is Nigel's and Amy's, and the reason why is because I get a discount.
There you go. Actually, one more question from Kim Alanis. She's the one that just asked you about the foundation.
Okay.
And what else can you recommend for dark circles? And she said, thank you so much for answering back.
Oh, thank you for asking. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm so thankful that you're listening and supporting our interview today. Dark circles, I definitely have a great answer for that. When a person has dark circles, a client, yourself, or anybody in general, people tend to just slap on some regular skin tone concealer onto those dark circles, and there's actually trick. You have to use an orange concealer, and this is one of the rules from the color wheel. So there's a color wheel, and whatever color is across from the other color cancels that color out. So when you have dark circles under your eyes, you go in and you put in an orange concealer to cover that area, and then you would go in and put your regular foundation all over your face, and then whether you do concealer before foundation or after, you can continue whatever you do. But before any makeup, foundation or concealers go on, you need to use an orange concealer, and this is going to cancel out the color that is underneath, which is going to be either the purplish or dark circles. It's really going to be able to make those dark circles kind of look a little more like regular skin tone. Then when you put your foundation on top, it's not going to look ashy, or sometimes the dark circles still show because you're not using that proper orange concealer. And there's a couple of brands that I really like. One of them is Anastasia Beverly Hills, and she has a great orange concealer that is in the cream consistency, and that one works very well for me.
That's crazy. Who would have known that orange concealer would take away dark circles?
Exactly.
I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, man. I'm just trying to sound like I'm knowledgeable here.
Oh, that's the way to go. You just gotta sound like you know what you're talking about.
Man, who would have known orange would take out dark circles? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And she said, thank you so much. Kim Alani said, thank you so much from Texas. She's tuned in from
thank
Texas.
you. I was in Texas a couple of months ago teaching a seminar in Houston, and I will probably be going back to Houston maybe the late end this year or early next year. And what I will be doing is I will either be teaching another seminar, or I will be there getting possibly, hopefully, if all goes well, getting Christina Milian to do an appearance at it's a place in Houston where professional artists go and stock up on their products, and it's called the MUA Project. We're going to be getting Christina Milian's We Are Pop Culture line there, and so hopefully I'll be out there either teaching a seminar, representing We Are Pop Culture with Christina Milian, or both.
There you go, man. I'm all out of questions on my side. I'm looking through your stuff. Do you see that question right there?
Okay, yeah, let's answer that.
Okay, so I'm stalking his, and you mentioned her that she was listening, but I don't know if we probably scrolled down really quick. Lafayette
Femenina.
Yeah, that one. Lafayette Femenina wants to know so if you had your choice of all the celebrities, what celebrity would you like to do makeup on?
Actually, I've really thought about that before. Somebody has asked me that before, and I know this is going to sound like a typical answer. I would probably say Khloe Kardashian.
I was thinking J-Lo. I don't know why. Don't ask me why.
I love J-Lo, but for some reason, I feel like I really enjoy Khloe's personality. And see, the thing about me is when I'm doing makeup for somebody, you're all up in that person's face. So, you don't want it to be awkward. And if that person has no personality, it kind of becomes awkward. And I have a personality that I always kind of have to try to settle down if the person's not reciprocating, I feel like if I did Khloe's makeup, we would really hit it off. Do I sound in love with her?
Yeah. I love her. What? That's crazy. That's dope. That's so funny. I can relate to that. You see, this is what I'm talking about. I can relate to it as a host because when I interview people, whatever, I'm not gonna say who, but I have had artists that are really calm. They're real. Everybody has different personalities, so I'm not talking shit. It's just I don't work well with calm personalities.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very
because you're over here cracking jokes and they're like,
Exactly. Yeah. So and I was like stumbling all over him because I couldn't get the rhythm.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was like, hey, so this and this and that. He'd be like, yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm like, hurry up and finish. I want to say something, and it was, yeah. So I completely understand what you're saying, you see?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's up, man. But again, fuck, this has been a very interesting interview. Everybody, shout out to everybody, man. Everybody's been showing a lot of love to, I'm glad that everybody has, how you say this? It is what it is, you know what I mean? I'm not talking shit, but a lot of people, like you said, even your family, you're happy that they're open-minded about your career path. I was thinking the same thing, I'm like, I wonder if someone's going to say something because I'm interviewing a makeup artist. I don't really give a fuck if they say something or not. I'm just curious, I'm trying to see, but a lot of positive feedback. So shout out to everybody for that, for real.
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel like the last thing that I want to add to this interview is if you are out there trying to pursue a dream, a career or something, I think one of the biggest things to always remember is to remain humble. There's a lot of people out there who get very arrogant or they get very full of themselves when they've really made it. And I feel like there's no reason to do that. If you've made it, it, you don't need to show it off. If you are in the situation you're in and you have people looking up to you, you don't need to act arrogant or act uptight, you know. A lot of the times people let it get to their head. And I think one of my other biggest things would be to say just stay humble and remain humble, you know. I still pick up pennies from the floor. I don't feel like I'm too good to do that, you know. I feel like a penny is just as important as $100 bill, you know. And I feel like I've said this before. I have supporters on Instagram who have millions of followers of their own, and I have supporters who have, you know, 50 followers of their own. And to me, everybody is equally important because I feel like everybody's input matters. If you have something nice to say, I'm going to be appreciative of it. If you have something negative to say, then, you know, I'm going to realize that it's your own opinion, and I'm still going to say thanks for your opinion, you know. I might not write back to all the negative comments because I feel like sometimes I want to just digest it, and I do see them. So for those of you who comment on my post or have anything to say about any of the looks I do or any of my posts, I really want to say thank you. And if I forget to write back to you, I promise that my intention was to write back to you, but I always try to connect with my supporters. So remain humble and just keep going.
Why are you looking at me like that for, dog? He's like remain humble. Like, what the fuck? Hey, do you see that I'm getting cocky or something? Like, Monski,
no.
Calm down, dog. Like, I feel like that was like a person, that was like like he's like looking everywhere and he looks at me like, stay humble. What the fuck? Nah, I'm just messing around, man. That's what's like.
Of course not.
We've been really blessed, man. I've been very blessed to meet a lot of, you know, very humble, hardworking, very successful, but humble people, man. Like Ms. B, very successful, very humble. Like yourself, JC, the makeup master, very successful, very humble. You know, I mean, that's what it's about. I've been very blessed and I'm very grateful, you know, to have them support me as well. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
That's what it's about. You know, I'm supporting them. They're supporting us back right here on Not Your Average Radio, and we're going to grow together, man.
Exactly.
That's what's up, man. Again, thank you so much. You have anything else that you want to talk about?
I think that's it.
I think we summed it up.
I think we summed it up.
I think we got it all.
I think people need to start getting ready for work tomorrow.
Right?
And thank you for people who tuned in this late. And I had a blast. You know, I can't wait to come in and do another interview. Maybe it could be in less than a year. Maybe it'll be when all my product has launched and it's out at the stores, and I could say, hey, guess what? Everything's out and ready for you guys to go grab and try it out.
There you go. Of course, man. You always have a home here. You know, we always stay in contact. We're always hanging out. So, yeah, whenever you're ready, let me know. As of right now, man, it's just my interview's been blowing up. Shout out to everybody. The month of September is pretty much booked for interviews.
That's awesome.
People are already I already have like 2 people, you know, starting to schedule for October.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
it is great,
I'm happy
man. So
for you.
thank you. Yeah, so we're all doing big things, man. But hey, we're being humble. Don't look at me like that. All
Remain
right,
humble.
Remain humble. Again, man, thank you so much for jumping on here. This is Not Your Average Radio. This is a homie, JCmakeupMaster. Make sure you show him love, man. He's a real humble dude, real cool, real respectful, and hardworking, man. So hey, let's get into some music. Ms. B, I'm gonna put on some soft music, all right? This is actually another client of Ms. B. Ms. B is taking over Not Your Average Radio, man. This is Rob Wright right here, Not Your Average Radio.